Okay, well, thank you guys for joining us for our September support video. I want to open today just talking about the walk that's coming up. Our annual walk is going to be on October 22nd. We're going to be at the Clipper Stadium again, and we have a lot of new additions to the walk this year that we're really excited about. So please, if you have Facebook, go ahead and look on our page. We'll have all the details there to register, get your t-shirt, help be a part of our booklet this year. And if you don't, everything's listed on our website. So either way, you'll get all the details there, but we just want to let you know that we're less than a month away. So we would just love to see you guys there. My name is Rachel Delacroze, and I am on the board of Share of Lancaster, and I'm a lost mom. I have two daughters that passed during pregnancy, and I have a living son who is 6. And Angie, will you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Angelique Shelton. I am a former board member and current volunteer with Share of Lancaster. I am a reproductive and perinatal mental health therapist. I specialize in perinatal mental health. I also have a certification as a certified grief professional, and I love supporting families through loss.
Yes, thank you. Today's topic is it's actually funny when Angie brought this one up about making memories. I just assumed it was after loss, making all of those memories. Once you're past the loss, what can you do? And that is a very important part. But what Angie's really opened my mind to is that this starts as soon as you're pregnant. Making those memories are crucial because unfortunately we don't know how the pregnancy is going to go. Some of us find out early that we're going to miscarry or that the baby's not healthy or we're going to have limited time with them. And others, we don't get that luxury of knowledge and preparation and time to figure that out. So really, as soon as you know that you're pregnant is when you want to start to create those memories. And this would be so many different ideas that Angie has come up with that just begin right then, and different things that even I explained to her. I didn't even think. As soon as I found out that my daughter Audrey was sick, that's exactly when I stopped making any memories. No more photographs, no more planning, no more buying gifts, no more anything. It was just like, well, I just have to survive this and then move forward. So why would I cherish any of this time? Like I just want this nightmare to be over. It wasn't even occurring to me that, oh, well, I have precious moments with her still alive that I could really cherish and continue to make these memories. So Andrew, can you kind of start us with what are some of just the simple things, because it's probably the last thing on our mind about making these memories. So what are just kind of some simple things that during that pregnancy process that you can start to do with that precious child?
Yeah, so this is a great question. And this is actually something that I tell all of my clients who are pregnant that they should be doing, not even with loss being something that's in the picture,
Mm-hmm.
but rather this is what I call intentional bonding. And it's
Mm-hmm.
something that can begin like from the very earliest moments of like knowing that you are going to try for a pregnancy. You can already be doing things that are helping you to bond and to create memories with this child that you are, looking forward to in your future.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can do things by the trimester, right? So, in the first trimester, it's really about taking care of mom or pregnant person's body, right? This is when you are resting, you're giving your
Mm-hmm.
body good nutrition. You're, trying to keep good exercise and good movement, those sorts of things. All of that is good for the baby, right? And so if you are going for a run, you can be reminding yourself, I'm going for a run with my baby.
Mm-hmm.
If you are taking your prenatal vitamins, you could say, okay, baby, let's nourish both of us. right?
Mhm.
And so these kinds of memories in this first trimester are things that are really focused on seeing yourself as connected to another person, and that
Mm.
the activities that you're doing are not just about you anymore. It's about
Mhm.
this little person that you're nourishing.
Mhm.
You move on to the second trimester, and this is really an exciting time because in the second trimester, the baby gains the ability to hear, to
Mhm.
see light. The baby gains the ability to taste. So actually, the foods that you eat, the baby gets exposed to in utero, and that actually sets them up for preferences in the future.
Mm.
So this is a great time for you as a mom and a partner to
Mhm.
go and try different foods, try
Mhm.
different tastes and sensations and spices, because
Mm.
those things will filter through to the baby, and the baby actually gains the ability during the second trimester to actually taste the food that you're eating.
Wow.
There just this week, I've seen news articles about studies that are done saying that babies smile when mom eats carrots and they
Mhm.
grimace when mom eats kale. So yeah,
Yeah.
so they've done some studies
Wow.
about this. So I mean, there are ways that you can be focusing in on sharing experiences with your baby even before they're born. And
Mm.
what happens then when somebody experiences a loss is that all of those things that were done with the intention of loving and bonding with your baby
Mm.
become precious memories.
Mhm.
So, for a person who discovers, usually in the second trimester, through an ultrasound, that their baby is not well,
Mhm.
that they are not expecting that their baby will live to, through, or long after birth.
Mhm.
Some parents decide that they are going to continue that pregnancy and they are going to take advantage of whatever little precious time they have
Mhm.
to make as many memories as possible from there on out. I do want to mention before we keep going, saying that there are times when moms miscarry.
Mhm.
And so then the question becomes, how do you create memories when you are miscarrying?
Mhm.
What I'm going to say is if you are in that situation where you are anticipating a miscarriage, please reach out to Share because we can help you. We can help give you more specific information about that time period, which is usually pretty brief. And if you do miscarry at home, we can give you information about how to collect your baby's body so that your baby can be included in a shared burial if that is something you would want.
Yeah.
So just know that no matter where you are in a pregnancy, there are things that can be done to honor your loss, to honor your child, to make memories.
Mhm.
And if you are someone who has to go for your own emotional and psychological protection just into survival mode,
Mhm.
there are memories that can be made later.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
Yeah.
But continuing on then for the family who has discovered that there is not that their child is ill and is
Yeah.
probably not going to make it long after birth. The rest of pregnancy then can be used as an opportunity to create memories that are going to have to last this family a lifetime.
Mhm.
So you, as a pregnant person, as a family, as a couple, can think about what are the things that you anticipated sharing with your child. Are
Mm.
you a family who loves football? Are you a family who loves baseball? Are you a family who loves going to the mountains or going to the shore? Do those things while you're still pregnant. So take the opportunity whenever and wherever you can to include your child in family events. Is there a
Mhm.
particular food that your family eats every year on New Year's Day? Make that food.
Mhm.
If you are anticipating still being pregnant over New Year's Day, just include your child in that event with the
Yeah.
family and make note of it. Take a
Mhm.
picture. Here we are with our baby on New Year's Day doing this event.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
so, any of these kinds of important family cultural characteristics,
Mhm.
important family events, whenever possible, include your baby. Do you have an annual ugly sweater day?
Mhm.
Wear your ugly sweater and take a picture of your baby in the ugly sweater.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so you can do all of these kinds of things during pregnancy if you are anticipating a loss. And if you are a parent who is not anticipating a loss, all of these just become part of your fun memories of
Mhm.
being pregnant. All of these are just things that you're doing that you are intentionally bonding
Yeah.
with this child.
Yeah.
So if you are somebody now who has gotten to the hospital and you either are anticipating the loss or you have an unanticipated stillbirth, um, hospitals are generally really good at helping families who experience loss to create memories.
Mhm.
They are generally really good at understanding that this is a really um, small period of time that passes by very quickly, and that most families are really in shock and are really not sure what it is that they need. If you would like additional guidance during this time, there are perinatal loss doulas who will often, bereavement doulas, they're sometimes called, um, baby loss doulas, they're sometimes called. And a lot of times they will actually just come to the hospital to be with you to help you create memories. So,
Wow.
what kinds of things might the hospital or a loss doula, or really just your family, what are some of the things that you can do? Well, think about when you're in a hospital and a baby is born alive.
Mhm.
Before you say goodbye to your baby, remember to say hello to your baby.
Mhm.
So, things that you would do for a child who was born alive, you would take pictures,
Mhm.
you would bathe them and do a first bath, you would dress them, you might sing a song to them or read them a book. Any of these parenting experiences
Mhm.
that you would anticipate having with a living baby, you can do with a baby who's no longer alive.
Mhm.
And you can do that in the hospital. You can introduce them to your family. You can have parents come, uh, grandparents. You can introduce them to their siblings. Sometimes parents wonder if this is something that they should do. Remember, I mean, you know your child best, but remember that this is your children's sibling who
Yeah.
has passed away, and
Yes.
that they will now be living with parents who have experienced the loss of a child, and they will now forever be a child who has a sibling who died.
Yeah.
So the grieving um, uh, experiences and things that we do around loss, you can include your children
Yeah.
in those as well. And then you have the opportunity for maybe family photographs. There are organizations. Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep is an organization that of professional photographers who volunteer their time to go into hospitals
Mhm.
and to take professional pictures of babies and families when a baby is stillborn. They will take the pictures. The pictures will be professionally edited by editors, and then the pictures will be sent, or a disc will be sent to the family some weeks after the loss. Usually, this photo or this disc, there is a letter that arrives ahead of time warning the family that the disc is coming so
Mm.
they can be prepared to receive that.
Yeah.
If you are not in an area where a Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep photographer is available, you can take your own pictures at the hospital
Mhm.
using even your cell phone.
Yeah.
And then you could submit those to Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep, and they will still professionally edit those pictures to
Wow.
make them look as beautiful as possible.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
that's wonderful.
so pictures, songs, bath time. If there is a particular christening gown that is used in the
Mhm.
family, or a blanket from great grandma that every baby in the family gets wrapped up in. Do it while you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bring everything and
Yeah.
everybody and every food and anything that you can think of that you would have wanted to
Mhm.
do with your child. Do it while you have the opportunity to do it.
Yeah. Oh, and handprints and footprints, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, these have been such sacred
Yep.
things for
Hand,
families.
yeah, handprints, footprints, locks of hair,
Yeah,
hospital
hair.
bracelets.
Hmm.
Yeah, sometimes they'll do, there can be like little hand impressions done, like little
Mm.
plaster impressions
Yeah.
done. And these can be done even with children who are very young. So even if your baby is not full term, don't assume that this
No,
can't be
yeah,
done if you're in the hospital. There are teeny tiny little ink pad
yeah,
impressions that can be done of feet in the
yeah,
hospital.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, and the one thing that one of my friends did, which has been just so sacred, is she brought a candle, and while she was had that sacred time with her baby, after he had passed, she lit that candle, and it's just, yes, it takes her back to that day every time she lights it, but it was with him in the room, and it was so
Mhm.
sacred. So yeah, just there's just so many ideas that we don't even know about.
Mhm.
But just knowing that you can make all those
Yeah.
memories. Yeah, it's
And
beautiful.
you, that brings up like a really excellent point, is that when we're talking about memory making, we are talking about two distinct things. We have tangible memories,
Mm,
which are
mhm,
all of the like physical objects that take us
mhm.
back to and help us remember our child.
Yeah.
But then there are also intangible memories. And these are things that we do or that we see or that we smell
Mm,
while we are in, or taste while we were in a particular place.
yeah.
So, for example, after my second baby, Anderl, was lost, I actually bought an outfit for him to wear
Mm,
during his burial. And I went and purchased it, and then I brought it home and I hand washed it. And when I hand washed it, I used a baby shampoo that smelled like green apples. And
mm,
so from then, we're talking 17 years ago, from then until now, anytime that green apple scent
mm,
like hits me, that is an intangible memory. And it brings me right back to my son.
yeah.
So if you can think about like, is there a particular scent that you would like to associate with your baby? Maybe
Yeah.
baby powder, maybe vanilla, maybe it's a time of year and you want like a Christmas cookie smell
Hmm.
to remind you of your baby.
Hmm.
You can diffuse that in a hospital. A lot of hospitals won't allow you to have a flame,
Yeah.
but you can use essential oils and diffuse that
Yeah.
smell
Yeah.
um, in your room. And then that becomes a scent that can be associated with your baby. And
Yeah.
scent is a very, very powerful
Huge. Yeah.
memory pathway
Hmm.
for people.
Yeah.
So that's like a really excellent thing
Yeah.
to think of, is that what you see in the room,
Mm.
even the lighting in the
Mm.
room, can actually be an intangible memory that you take with you. If there's a particular quality of light in the room,
Mm-hmm.
that will be something that your mind captures
Yeah.
during that time.
Yeah.
So think both tangible and
Okay.
intangible, not only
Okay.
things, but also experiences and senses
Yeah.
that are
Yeah.
going on at the same time.
Yeah. And with that tangible, whether it be a beautiful stone or just some type of memento that's you're gonna associate with them,
Mhm,
um, having a photograph of them with it, and
mhm,
then moving forward, including that in all of your photos, your family vacations, your holiday pictures. It's just you have that initial photo with them, and then it's that you're bringing them into all the memories moving forward. So yeah, just thinking of you're going to have a lot of intangible things happening that day, right?
mhm,
That you can't really move forward with, but coming prepared with, okay, I'm going to bring
mhm,
all of these different things to have near my baby, to have a photo with my baby so that I can
mhm.
then take those things and
Yeah,
continue to make memories with that
yeah,
and them, forever. So,
absolutely.
and the going back to the idea of like doing the holiday traditions, doing all this time. Let's say, I think that's hard to comprehend, but you might have a couple weeks or a month. But who's to say, like you said, you can't just have Christmas in the middle of summer, right? Set up a tree, get photos. Like it's so hard to think that you can create those types of memories
Yeah,
when they're so painful because you know
right,
that's it, right? But you also don't have to wait for that time to come. You
right.
can create all those really beautiful
Mhm.
days, and then every holiday. that you hit moving forward, you had your first with them,
Hmm.
right? And you have that like
Yeah.
first Christmas with them. And then the second Christmas, of course, is going to be different, but you had that initial one. So yeah, I think like you said, it doesn't have to be during that time. You can create that memory whenever
Hmm.
you want with them with you at that time. So
Yeah.
yeah, such a beautiful thing
Yeah. I
to
mean, if there are
accomplish.
families that like to do, like they go to the shore every summer,
Yeah.
so they go down to the Jersey Shore, let's say, but they go down in July. It's okay if you go down in November and get
Yeah.
pictures
Yeah.
of you on the beach. It's
Yeah.
okay if you do that.
Yeah.
Because then you have pictures of you at the shore and you did that. You took your baby to the shore. And I want to be really clear to say that some of these things can take an incredible amount of energy.
Yeah.
And this kind of memory making is going to feel healing for some people,
Mm.
and it would feel overwhelming and defeating to
Yeah.
others.
True.
So, whatever you need at as you are dealing with your loss, that is okay
Yeah.
because any of these things, excuse me, any
Mm.
of these things that you might do during the pregnancy as a memory with your child, you can still do after the loss. So if
Yes.
you wanted
Yes.
to take your baby to a baseball game and that was something you did not get the opportunity to do,
Yes.
take your baby's hospital bracelet with you to the opening game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, take your baby's,
Yeah.
a picture of your baby with you
Yeah.
to Paris if that was something
Yeah.
that you were going to, wanted to do with your baby.
Yeah.
So you don't have to do these memory
True.
making
Yes.
events or experiences while you are still pregnant. If you have the
Yes.
opportunity to and it feels good to you, then it is
Yeah. It's
something that
gotta
a
feel
lot of
good.
people
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if it is too much, if you are
Mm-hmm.
too overwhelmed, that's okay. You
Yeah.
will have the opportunity to remember and to
Yes.
create memories even after the baby has passed.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're so right. You're so right. It really is just what you can do in that moment. And you can't
Yeah.
beat yourself up for it if you didn't, if this is already in the past and you're like, I wish I had done that.
Mhm.
It's okay because we have now our lifetime to make memories still. This isn't, don't feel defeated by that or
Mhm.
I wish I would have, right?
Mhm.
Because we're putting this out there so that if you're in the midst of a pregnancy or a future pregnancy, we want to just plant these seeds so that you have the opportunity if
Mhm.
that is what you want and that feels right to you. But also if you're already past it, there is no uh, there's no reason that you can't actually do all this with them and in
Mhm.
their memory and bring them with you in your heart and experience. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so I guess, does that kind of get us to the point that now, okay, it is past our
Mhm.
loss. We're past the, maybe we were involved in the shared burial.
Mhm.
Maybe we had a private ceremony. Maybe we didn't do anything. It was just a sacred thing at home.
Mhm.
And now we're at the point where we want to continue making these memories. We
Mhm.
feel we're totally robbed of it. Once
Yeah.
they're gone, we're totally robbed of it. We don't get,
Mhm.
their first day of kindergarten. We don't get
Yeah.
their graduations and their weddings and the birth of their children. We don't get any of that. So we get totally robbed of that. But it doesn't mean we can't find another way to continue to
Mhm.
make these memories. And um, there's just a few that I'll kind of give you if this would be helpful. If you're in that space where you're kind of like given up on it, like I feel defeated, I feel robbed of this, and I'm angry and I'm bitter, and you should be, and that's okay. But moving forward, what can you do to include them? Maybe you find a way to include them in every single day moving forward.
Mhm.
That's totally possible. So, um, just simple things that I have. I've created two boxes for my girls, one for Audrey and one for Colette. And as their birthdays go or things happen that are just specific to them and feel really sentimental to me or remind me of them, I collect it and put it in the box.
Yeah.
Whenever I feel like I want to connect with them, I open that box and go through all of that.
Hmm.
Um, that's just one simple way. So if you don't have that and you kind of have little things here and there and you want to kind of just put them all together in a really beautiful way, I put their name on the box, the day of their birth.
Hmm.
So you can do something like that. Um, if you attend our walk, that's one of the biggest things we do is make sure that you leave with a memory and a tangible keepsake from that walk so that you can continue to be reminded, and we continue to be able to remind you that your baby matters and continue to keep them in your life. So every walk you attend, we try to do something different. We have something new planned for this year, something that just gives you that opportunity to one, connect with them, and then to be able to take with you and remember that day and how sacred and special the walk is.
Hmm.
Um, and just one of the things that I think is a simple way that you can kind of include them in your day is if you ever go anywhere and you get a cup of coffee and they ask you what your name is, just use your baby's name. And just hearing somebody say their name and then be able to have their cup with you all day with their name on it. It's just a beautiful way to kind of include them in your day. Say, hey, today I really want to connect with my baby and have this day with them. It's a really special day. Well, there are so many ways that you can kind of do that in very simple ways. Um, Angie, you had said just giving them a name. It's so
Yeah.
sacred. And that's something that Cher really opened my mind to is with Colette. She was such an early loss, being a vanishing twin, that we didn't know her gender. We just continued with the pregnancy with my son, and I
Hmm.
just never knew. But I was given that, oh my goodness, you can name your child. You
Yeah.
know, you can do whatever feels right to you, and you can navigate that. And then when you figure out a name that feels right and sits well
Hmm.
with you, and just naming them and then giving
Yeah.
them that identity.
I had the same experience. My first baby, Callan,
Mhm.
was born so early that it never occurred to me to give my baby a
Yeah,
name.
yeah.
And my husband and I always referred to Callan as the first one
Mm,
until we lost our next baby,
mhm.
Andrew. Andrew was further along. He was stillborn, so it felt normal to name
Yeah.
him. But it was after we lost Andrew that I suddenly realized I read in a book like that you can name your baby long after the fact.
Yes, yes.
If you never gave them a name, it's
Mhm.
okay for you to select a name.
Yeah.
So my husband and I selected a name, and Callan actually means first in Scottish, in one of the Gaelic languages. And so we had always called Callan the first one. So
Mhm.
we just continued with first.
Yeah.
And, so yeah, giving your child a name, if that's
Mhm.
something that feels good to you, that is an amazing, intangible memory. And
Mhm.
it's pretty powerful because it actually gives your child an identity that
Yeah.
is then used and shared among,
Yeah.
in your own mind, but then among others as well, is
Mhm.
that there is this particular person who is
Mhm.
being named and remembered.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty powerful thing that can be done if one wants to.
Yeah. 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 Definitely. The one I would love for you to share with us is, um, you had said, I think it was a plant or a flower that you had planted at the graveyard, and then you did as well at home,
Mhm.
right? So that
Yeah,
when, if you want to share that, because I think
sure,
it's such a
sure.
beautiful thing.
So after when my son Andrew was born, my husband is from upstate Pennsylvania, and his family has been in that area for generations. They have a family graveyard, and so we decided that we wanted Andrew to be buried
Mhm.
there. So that's away from us where we live currently. But what we did was we took tulip bulbs and we planted them at our home and on his grave
Mm,
so that we knew when we saw the tulips
mm,
blooming at home that they were also blooming for him. And
mhm,
so that was like a connection that we had that,
mhm,
oh, our flowers are blooming now.
mhm,
And,
mhm.
that was a memory,
Yeah.
that we did it. and had the experience of doing it. But then I actually took some of those tulip flowers and actually dried them and made a few pieces of art with them so that it also
So,
became a tangible
yeah.
memory that we were able to
Wow.
keep.
Yeah. Yeah. There's just so many things just with that. Planting a tree and watching it go through the seasons and spending time there. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, park benches. I love at Lidditz Springs. This is on my list of things to do. They have leading into the park, they have all the different bricks with different names on them, lining the walkway. And I just want to get one with the girls on there, just different things like that. So every time I walk through the park, which is several times a week, I can just walk and see their name. And that's part. And then I know other people are seeing their name. So I've seen it with park benches and the beach. You might want to do that in loving memory of, and then you can put, so there's just so many ways. And then it's like, not only are you making memories with yourself, but then you can just imagine all the other people that see that and have a connection or just like a moment with your child and don't even realize how special that is. So, yeah, there's just so many different ways. And just being a part of the community is, I can guarantee you, being a part of a lost community, that is one of the center goals, is to make sure that we continue to make memories in their honor, in their name, in remembrance, however we can. And we can give it to you in
Yeah.
an experience in a day, and then something that you just take home that's
Yeah.
just so precious that you can cherish. So, um, yeah, don't think that just because we're robbed of the memories we wish we had the opportunity to create with them doesn't mean there aren't a million ways to continue to create memories in honor of them and to include them in your life every day.
And we're really blessed in that every October is
Mhm.
Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month.
Mhm.
And then every October 15th is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Remembrance Day.
Yeah.
And so at 7 p.m. local time on every
Yes.
October 15th, you have the opportunity to participate in what's called the Wave of Light. And
Mhm.
this is where being a part of community and lighting a
Yeah.
candle is something that anybody can do anywhere,
Yes.
and be a part of that global community. And so
Mhm.
at 7 p.m. local time, all around the world, there's like 12-hour wave of light as
Mm.
it turns 7 p.m. in a different time zone every
Yeah.
hour.
Yeah.
There are families who are lighting candles in memory of
So
these
beautiful.
babies,
Yeah.
who have gone before. And so we have an entire month of October where we can join in activities
Mm.
and join with other families who have experienced the same kind of thing. And then we have that day where we are all like lighting a light,
Mhm.
and the light of memory, the light of knowledge, the light of love that we are all
Yeah.
holding up. So it's a fantastic opportunity. It's a great thing to have out there and to be a part of. Um, yeah, and then we also have our walk that's coming
Yeah.
up on October 22nd,
Mhm.
which is a beautiful event. If you're listening to this and you haven't been to one, please do come out.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's also really fun and
Yeah.
bonding.
Yeah.
Families come out to it.
Yeah.
We enjoy the day and enjoy
Mhm.
the beautiful fall weather together.
Mhm.
Um, so it's not, there might be a few tears, but there's also a
Yeah.
lot of laughter and a lot of friendship that goes on
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, and speaking of the Wave of Light, the our goal was to have the walk on the 15th, and we
Mhm,
weren't able to, but you will notice that we are now titling the walk Walk to Remember
mhm,
Wave of Light, because we are going to do kind of a very symbolic wave of light in our own take, even though it is a week after.
mhm.
If you don't have the opportunity to do that on the 15th every October, we want to make sure that we do it as a community too.
Sure.
So that has really just the movement of that light and creating it with a community. It should just be such a special year. So that is something you'll see in everything that we've posted about the walk. And that is something we've added on because it's really important to us to make sure that we do that as a community, even if it is after the fact. So
Sure.
Yeah, October is so sacred. And just knowing that we're so
Mhm.
close to that, we're 1 week away from a month that you can make so many memories and you're going to see so many people open up about their stories and
Mhm.
really just, yeah, just share what they can about their baby. So, yeah, thank you so much for today and for helping,
Yeah.
yeah, helping families know that it's never too late to make memories. And with,
Mhm.
yeah, just so many different ways that they can do that. So
Mhm.
I thank
Always a
you.
pleasure.
Yes,
Mhm.
thank you so much.